Hi, Sagittarius. This is your Aquarius season reading, February 2024. All information to work with me one-on-one is below, as well as the extended version to this reading, which will be in the first link below. Give it about 24 to 48 hours, sometimes 72, not gonna lie, but more than likely after this initial reading comes out. I'm gonna let the cards fall out, but I think some of you are tired and need some rest. That's the first thing I'm gonna say. And I don't just mean like you need to sleep. For some of you, yes, but I mean like have fun, not think about all of the rational things. Capricorn season has maybe left you feeling understanding of like where your resources stand, whether it's within your mind, your heart, internal resources, external like physical resources as well. It may be still weighing heavily on your mind. Yeah. And it looks like, yeah, the antidote for it is to have some experiences, some connections, and not just to see where you're restricted or, yeah, whatever, restricted or lacking. It's important to also experience, and like, you know this, but the fact that I have to say this to you, that is coming out in the cards, we're just kind of like, okay, like, it's something, it's funny, this is just funny. Actually, this is maybe a result from last summer until now. Also a few weeks ago until now. It's very possible that this is what you've been thinking about your home life, what feels right to you. You may even, without like provoking thought, like imagine yourself maybe with more alone time. There's also something about quieting down, like you really want to be quiet. You want maybe your internal world to be more quiet, it looks like, yet you can't find yourself like there in a way that is helpful. The shift in Pluto, from Pluto to Aquarius, we'll obviously get more into the second part, is maybe softening something within you, but there's like a discipline that first needs to come out. And I know, like, if you look at astrology, Pluto's not going to start to really take effect until it really gets rolling. But as an highly intuitive person reading these cards, Pluto's been coming out strong in every reading to an extent. And I think it's important to acknowledge that, like, what themes that could possibly come up. And I like to present them through the cards. So take it for what you will, because it will probably consistently pop up as the year keeps turning, especially the next 20 years. You may feel like you need to maybe defend yourself being this way. Like you can't be soft, or you can't be quiet or more calm without having an explanation for it, or having some way to maybe feel like you need to defend yourself, or without having to maybe shift right back, or something internally just shifts. But maybe it's about, if you know that's going to happen, maybe it's about how you go about this differently this time, since you're aware of it. Maybe you can like state to the people that need to know, like, hey, I'm here right now, so if I don't get back to you right away, or if I'm not like around for a couple of days, like I'll check in, I'll let you know, like, hey, I'll get back to you, whatever that is, and whatever you need to do in order to maybe have other people understand is kind of where you're being guided to. Because it looks like through more internal compassion, you will find that there's this source of, like, a stream of information that's been trying to get to you. And it's like you needed to understand something about what has kept you or held you back. What has, and this could even stem from even a few months ago after your birthday or after even a celebration. You may have felt like, why do I feel so closed off, or whatever that is for you, or why your like body maybe feels overwhelmed even in good times. You may need to understand that that's like a very much a nervous system thing, and reinforcing your nervous system to relax is the guide here. And sometimes it's taking yourself out of yourself first, being around people who care about you. There's also, looks like there's a commitment and an exchange. There's an exchange. This is first of all with yourself, because finding the courage to create the space for yourself, ask for help maybe. You're allowing some things to process or reveal themselves in a way that feels almost astonishing, but it's like, and I don't think this has to be true, but it could feel like to you at first, like all of a sudden, boom, like everything's coming at you. Like right when you get there. Like the polarity in that, the opposition in that is big. But also for the past few weeks, I think you've been dealing with that. And the culmination and the shift finally sets in around the new moon in Aquarius, because this is also these two are the axes of each other. From the 2 to the 5, because behind the 3 is the 2 that stand up. What's meant to stay is staying. And I know that's just a cliche, but this reading isn't about doing too much. Like, there's like no action really happening here. So this month is very much a mental and act when necessary, and it's through connections that you will do most of this acting, right? I mean, you could still like do your physical things that you're doing, but the shift is through this communication, right? If you're a Sagittarius rising, then Pluto is shifting through now your 5th house. My apologies, 3rd house. Oh, man. I can't count. Your 3rd house, right? This makes sense. You may have liked the way things were before, but they no longer, and it's funny, I said this to Capricorn very similarly. It's probably why I was like, why are you guys grouped together of all signs, right? Because I like usually do some of the signs really bounce and play off each other during each month, and it's interesting how I go about that. I've been allowing myself to, just to see, and your similarity is that, and it's, you start with the 2 and end with the 2 almost. I mean, the 2 and the 5, 2 and the 10. You realize in order to maybe get to the 10, you have to go through this 5 here, and you have the 2, you have something, you know, there's something worth committing to go through this, and realize that whatever you're committing to and how exciting it is and how good you feel and how necessary it also is. So there's all of this. There will be a point, there could be a point where you realize what has been lost, right? I've been looking at the Two of Cups a lot at the lion and how it's tied up by the snakes, but there's still this one point going down that's connected directly to the lion with wings. And then we also have the Strength card right above it, which I put together as I was holding up to you, just so you know my thought process. And we have the snakes, but then on her halo is also the infinity. This is a lot about how much your heart can handle. Again, your nervous system, your cardiovascular system. Being yourself now looks different. You're committing to yourself. You're committing to maybe a purpose, an intent, a deep intention. And that's what's allowing you to move through this. And you started doing this before you knew maybe the sadness that would come with it, or the effect that would come with it. Come with this decision, come with these changes, come with the shifts that are now happening. And because it's such a necessary shift, whatever comes out from this and whatever you have lost, is really just, it's just like when my stomach growls. I should just explain it to you. When my stomach growls, I get embarrassed because it reminds me of being a kid, or like, it sounds silly, but whatever. So it's growling. You also may realize why you may have felt like you needed to defend this connection that you have, or the relationship that you're in, or this phase that you're going through. You may realize why it is that you feel that way through the midst of it all too. I think each like moment of, oh wow, comes from, it's like cause and effect. It's like it comes from any situation where you're presenting yourself in this new way. Because you've done this before and it's easier at certain times, but it's not always accessible. But this month is making it easier for you to like deliberately be conscious of like, this Aquarius season to me for all the signs is so transformative. Just this 1 month is like huge. And it's like the most productive Aquarius season I've ever seen, in a way that's so systematic, and also it doesn't seem overwhelming. It just seems like everyone's weaknesses are going to be played upon. You are so strong, if not the strongest of the zodiac, physically. Every Sag I know. Internally, now that will begin to translate. And you will feel that growth, and you will experience that growth. And you'll have to come back and realize why you're committing to this during times where you may want to be overly defensive, or you want to say your piece, or you have this, or you have that. And then the 5 of Cups, where it just makes you overthink, or it makes you sadder, it brings you back to the past in a way that is right now just not good for you. Right? Anything that you bring yourself to join with, if it brings you if it's not adding to your life at this point, you're going to start to really notice. That's all. You'll go from there how you want, we know. But you're just going to start to really notice. And that's a big thing. I am looking forward to looking at this next part with you. All right, Sag. we'll see you there, and we'll see you next month.